And so, all right. So again, welcome everyone to our information session about the HACU paid internship program. We're delighted that you're here. My name is Missy Frazen. I work in career services at UIC. And we are really glad this is also part of Latinx Heritage Month at UIC. I will put that link in the chat a little bit later in case you want to check out. There's a lot of other great events happening, and it's through October 15th. And Melanie, one of our students who will be joining us and talk about her experience with HACU, also is one of the student organizers. So Melanie will have some great, if you have questions about some of the other events, she might be able to answer them, but I'll put the link to the Latinx Heritage Month website, just in case you want to see what else is going on. So if you could, if you can mute yourself, that would be great. Just so we don't have a ton of background noise. I know it gets a little tricky. So what I am going to do before I turn it over to Hannah and Ben from HACU, I'm going to share my screen. I wanted to show all of you. I just want to make sure that you all know a little bit about, of course, my computer's not cooperating. A little bit about how to use Handshake in case you're trying to sign up for one of our events, or you want to sign up for a career advising appointment, which I think would be really important. If you're going to apply for one of the HACU internships, make sure you have a great resume, you have a good cover letter if you need to write a cover letter, and also we do mock interviews. And I know that students understandably get really nervous about interviews. We can do a mock interview with you and help you make sure that you're ready to go. So this is what you're going to see if you log into Handshake and you go to the event side, right? What you'll see initially is this, right? So you're going to see, let me just let these other students in. So you will see this when you log into Handshake. So if you want to look for events, you just go to events, and then you'll see all these great events that will pop up. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes it's a little hard to find certain things. You can just use the search bar. So tomorrow, in case you're thinking about going to grad school, we are doing a workshop called Should I Wait or Should I Go to Grad School? Tomorrow, Friday at 12 p.m. If you want to learn more, click on it and you can register. It's pretty easy actually to register, right? You just kind of usually go in the corner. So this is a way to sign up for events, and events is a great way to see, is there an employer doing an information session? Do we have a career fair going on? I usually use the search bar if I'm looking for something in particular. Like if I'm looking for health events, I'll put health in that search bar. The other thing I wanted to show you is how to make a career advising appointment. So what you do is next to your name, or some people have their initials, or I have a little picture. This is kind of my student account. You go to Career Center if you're trying to meet with a career advisor in career services. So this is what you're going to see, right? And then you go to schedule appointment. So Career Center, right next to your initials or your picture, go to schedule appointments. You can either make an appointment with a career advisor in the engineering career center or career services where I work. And then you can pick what kind of appointment you're looking for, like this. And then you can pick a date, you can pick a week, and you can just kind of see hey, who is available, right? And when are they available? So just let you know how you can make an appointment with a career advisor. We do services virtually, we do services in person, and we are here to help you achieve your career goals, whatever they are. I know sometimes students don't know what their career goals are. That's cool too. We're here to help you. And so don't navigate this on your own, especially when you're paying for all these great services. All right, so I'm definitely not the reason that you all came here. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I'm going to turn it over to Hannah from HACU, and she'll tell us more about the program. I'm actually going to put my video off just so I can kind of manage the chat and some of those other things. Again, glad you're here. I'm really excited to be part of Latinx Heritage Month as well. All right, Hannah, I'm going to let you take over.
All right, and so I hope everybody can see my screen now. I'm just about to get this PowerPoint started.
Yep, it looks good.
Awesome, thank you for that. So as Melissa said, my name is Hannah Roberg, and I am joined here today with my colleague Ben Milano. We are, see him waving his hand, we are from the Hispanic Association of Colleges and Universities. And what I really want to talk to you about today is our internship program. First and foremost, we are, well, I guess I'll dive into the Hispanic Association history here. It's a nonprofit that was established back in 1986, and we work for the purpose of advocating for Hispanic serving institutions. We have members across the United States, totaling nearly 500. Like I said, I'm really excited to talk to you today about the internship programs that we have available. I want to first start by saying that even though we have Hispanic in our name, we do not limit to Hispanic students. Obviously, we are proud to offer that access to Hispanic students, and are especially cognizant of that as we are in Hispanic Heritage Month. But it is not restricted in that way. So with that, I'll continue on to what is HNIP. First of all, the acronym stands for HACU's National Internship Program. First here, I will focus on the federal side, and so we'll cover that, and then I'll dive into any differences with the corporate program. But for the federal program specifically, we'll move forward. These are paid internships, and I don't know about all of you, but when I was a student, it was next to impossible to find a paid internship in political science. So we are super happy to be able to provide these internships at paid. And as you can see here, the rate for undergraduate students is $15.25 per hour, whereas graduate students are $17 an hour. We do suspect that rate to go up for spring by 25 cents each, just, due to inflation on all of that. But as you can see, these are, they're $15 an hour. It's a paid internship that you should be able to really take advantage of. Additionally, there are no application fees. So you apply to HACU, you are not at a loss in any way. For the federal side, we have programs in the fall, or positions in the fall, spring, and summer. So we operate year round with positions. You do apply for each session. So we are in our fall session right now, obviously, and later on, I'll talk about our deadline for spring. One thing I also want to mention for our federal internship program, when we have been operating virtual due to the pandemic, but we do foresee that we will be going back in person. This spring is most likely going to be a combination of virtual positions as well as some hybrid or in-person positions. But for those hybrid or in-person positions, we make sure and cover all of your travel to your internship site. So if you're interning in DC, we help cover that relocation cost, and we buy you that round trip airfare. And additionally, we fully arrange your housing, and we do subsidize it. So we'll make sure that you have a good location and take that stress out of relocating if you are doing an in-person or hybrid internship. I will dive into that a little bit more later, so I'll hang tight with that for right now. But I also just want to mention how we really seek to have this internship program be a very inclusive and comprehensive professional experience for you. So we are working on improving our services in this way, but already have professional development workshops as well as cultural events. So for example, just yesterday, we had an event where we hosted a speaker from the Library of Congress to talk about applying to federal jobs on USA Jobs. If any of you have looked at USA Jobs before, you know that it is a beast of its own. It's its own world of chaos. And so we were happy to invite somebody from the Library of Congress to break it down for us and provide some nice tips and tricks. And I even learned some things, and I've applied to jobs on USA Jobs. So it was a great workshop. And so we're really happy to be able to provide those type of seminars to our interns throughout their time. We do also have some monitoring and evaluation throughout it, and that is really, again, to make sure that this is the best professional experience possible that you can be getting out of this internship. And with those two components in particular, we are happy to work with interns in obtaining academic credit for their internship. We recognize that every home institution has their own way of doing academic credit. So we don't have a strict system that we need to follow on our end, but in turn, we are very accommodating and making sure that we are going through the process that you need to for your institution. So whatever UIC requires you to do to get academic credit, we can work with you on that. Moving on here,
A quick question that someone direct messaged me and asked.
Awesome.
We have a few graduate students, it sounds like, on the Zoom, and it sounds like in particular we have a law school student. So they were just wondering if there are law school or opportunities for students that are in law school through HACU.
Yes, there are. Yes, we actually have a few JD students this term even. And we do have some positions that even require JD. So every position is, obviously, we have a whole variety, and actually I'll dive into that right now. We have a whole variety of positions. So we accept all majors and encourage all majors. It is for associates, bachelors, masters, PhD, JD. We have positions for all of those, and certain positions do require certain levels, but that's all, we have that array. So with that, we do require that you're currently enrolled in a degree seeking program. As I just mentioned, it can be any level. And then recent graduates are allowed to participate. If you're graduating in spring, you can participate in our summer internship program or an internship session. Additionally, we do have a few programs that are specifically for recent graduates. For example, we have a conduit program with the Library of Congress. Otherwise, it's the majority of our positions are going to be for current students. But like I said, happy to accept applications of students graduating in spring for summer. Any other questions on that point, Melissa? Did you see?
Yeah, no, this is great timing. We have a question about if students have DACA, are they eligible to apply for the HACU paid internship program?
Yes, thank you for bringing that up. And actually, as you can see, this is something I wanted to mention here on the slide. So for the federal internship program, all of our interns are required to have a security clearance, and that is something that is determined by the agency that they will be working for. We have been finding that the majority of our agencies require US citizenship for the security clearance. With that being said, we do have some agencies that per their security clearance guidelines, are able to allow DACA students, and we have actually one this semester. We, as well as, legally authorized to work in the US or permanent resident. So we do have some agencies, but just know that the majority of our positions, the agencies require US citizenship. This is a kind of moving target for us, and it's really based on the agencies. So we are just here, we have to follow whatever they set, but that is what we are looking at for spring here. So any other questions on that, Melissa?
Yes, these students are very engaged. These are great questions. The question is,
I love it. That's what I want. I'm
right?
Here to, I want to make sure this is applicable to all of you.
Is the process the same for students who are going to graduate in fall 2021? You might have already addressed that, but I just wanted to double check. Like
sorry,
in December.
Can you repeat that question?
Yeah, so students, so I think what the students are asking is, like, if they're going to graduate in December 2021, they can still apply, correct? Even though, they'll be alumni, right? Like as of January 2022.
Yes. So what I will say is for students that are graduating in December, We would encourage you to apply, and you would be reviewed for our like conduit programs that are specifically for recent graduates. The other option is going to be our corporate internships, which I'll get to in a second. But the recent graduates are allowed at all points in that process for the corporate. Ben, did you have anything? I see you turned on your camera. Did you have anything you wanted to add with that?
Yeah, let me just add to that. Let me just say too, I know if you might be graduating in the fall 2021, let me just push you to try and take an internship now, either try to apply for an internship. Sorry, I'm thinking of fall, next fall, not this December. But it would be for our conduit program. However, let me add on to that as well, that there are some agencies that do require specifically currently enrolled students, but then also there are agencies who do require or who do ask for recent graduates. Those agencies tend to be a little bit more slim pickings when it comes to us giving students to them. With that being said, let me say this too. On the federal side, there is the recent graduate fellowship program ran by the USA Jobs specifically for recent grads. And that's another opportunity outside of HNIP that you can utilize to help further along. And to add to Hannah's point too, there is our corporate program, which runs only in the summer, but that is something that you can apply for as well.
Awesome. Any other questions on that point? Otherwise, I'll keep moving along here.
I think we're good, but I will keep trying to gently interrupt if we have some questions. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you, Melissa. So, so again, the majority of our positions are going to be for, just to be completely transparent here, the majority of our positions based on agency requests that we are adhering to are going to be for US citizens and currently enrolled students. But as Ben mentioned, and as I've mentioned, we do have some positions that is not the case. So we do encourage you to apply. And for recent graduates, just know that you'll be reviewed for those recent graduate positions. Otherwise, I will definitely draw your attention to a few other things along in the presentation here. So stay tuned. On that note, we do require students and interns to have completed at least 1 year of college coursework before starting an internship. So just to be clear, that would be like fall and spring full-time status, and then you'd be eligible for that summer already. So you wouldn't need to wait till the next fall, but fall and spring full-time, and then you are eligible for summer. Additionally, we recommend a 3.0. It is not required, and especially for the federal positions, we do place students with less than a 3.0. But that is, something that we encourage students to, do their best in submitting a good application that way. And then I did cover the citizenship aspect. And again, that's, something that we can't control here at HACU. And it's really just dependent on the federal agencies and how that works with security clearance. So how do you apply? First and foremost, I want to draw your attention to our website, which is www.hacu.net/HNIP. There you will find the link to apply online. It's an online application, and you apply once. You apply once to HACU, and that makes you eligible for all the positions, that we have that you match. So you don't need to, like, if we have 30 positions with US Aid and, 7 of them are with your major, you're automatically eligible for all of those, if you're per the security clearance and current student and all of that. But moral of the story, you apply once to HACU. So this is a great, if you will, bang for your buck in dedicating your time towards this application, because you're getting a lot of opportunities just with this one application. Of course, you have to add your contact information and all that in the education section. For the education section, we want to make sure that we're getting all of your experience. So if you're a transfer, we want to know your original school. If you're a graduate student, we want to know your undergrad. So really just making sure you're filling that out completely, giving us a grad date, and and obviously if it changed, that's fine, but an anticipated. And then we will move on to references. And for the references and for the one letter of recommendation, we don't have any requirements as to whether who that needs to be. It can be a professor, it can be an advisor, a previous employer or supervisor. You really have a lot of options with that, but we just want to make sure that you're choosing somebody that can speak best to your skills. So with that letter, it's really about who you choose that's right for you. There's no strict guidelines with that. For the work history, you'll need to fill it out in the application. And again, I just want to touch on here that if you feel like, I've only had waitressing experience, that's okay. There are many skills that you learn as a waiter or waitress that are transferable to other jobs. Interpersonal skills, communication skills, time management. And so we really encourage you to thoroughly fill out the work history portion and think of how that work history is going to relate to some internships that you're looking at in order to give the agencies the best picture of you. For that in particular, we highly encourage you to visit your career center. As Melissa already outlined, it looks like you have an awesome resource there at UIC. So I really encourage you to reach out to them, and it's a service that you already pay for, so utilize it, because let me tell you, it's not included in life post school. So get that resource and take advantage of it now. And then for your essay, I also strongly encourage you to reach out to the Writing Center on campus and get support from that. The essay is really our chance to get a better overall picture of you, as well as get a sense of your writing skills. So that's what we're really looking for in that essay. And again, just making sure that you are doing your best in this application, and knowing that one application is going to go far with HACU. We then, in terms of documentation, we do require proof of enrollment, and maybe Melissa can chime in with this, but usually proof of enrollment is requested through the office of the registrar, and it's usually a really simple request, but it's just a matter of knowing that that's where you need to go to get that.
Yeah, I think also for students, I think if you know how to access your DARS, you basically need almost like an unofficial transcript, I think, to kind of document that. And I think you can do that through your DARS or the registrar. You could just Google UIC registrar if you need to reach out to the registrar's office.
Yeah, so we do require an official transcript, but I have worked with DARS at previous institutions where I work, and I do think you're right that there might be some sort of enrollment specific, because for that, courses in progress is also something that we can view. Yep. So your DARS would cover that. So that would be good.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. And then like I already mentioned, we do require one letter of recommendation. But really what I want to hit home here is, make sure that you are imagining what the agencies are going to see in this application. And so really doing your best to reach out to career services, reach out to the Writing Center, and make sure that you're submitting the best application possible. And knowing that you don't have to pay for the application and that it'll go far with many opportunities. Any questions that are popping up in the chat, Melissa, about that?
So far, no, I don't think
okay, awesome.
so.
We'll definitely have time at the end, so I'll just keep moving forward here and talk a little bit about housing and travel. So I know I touched on this a little bit in the beginning, but when you are to report to an internship in person, and like I said, for spring, I think the majority are going to be virtual. But we do suspect that we will have some hybrid positions as well as some in-person positions. And so for that, the housing and travel would apply. And again, we cover the round trip airfare to your internship site. We make sure that you have transport to and from the airport, and do our best to really make that a stress-free process for you. In terms of housing, we arrange the apartment. We find a place that is nice and it's close to where you'll be working, close to the metro, close to a grocery store. And so we really help you throughout that process so you don't have to research the area and find housing yourself. We then also pair you to live with other HACU interns. So this is actually usually a pretty favored part of the program because it's a great opportunity to meet new people and network and have a good time in this new city that you'd be living in. We also make sure that the apartments are furnished for you. So you just, have to bring your personal belongings, but don't have to worry about furniture. And then your housing is automatically deducted from your biweekly paycheck. And then it is the rest of it is subsidized by HACU. So we cover utilities and all of that as well. And so you have that consistent rate that is taken out of your paycheck, but from there it is subsidized by HACU. And we all in all make sure that there are no security deposits, no administrative fees, no first month's rent, no credit checks. Again, just making this process as smooth and easy for you as possible so that it can really be the exciting adventure that it is. In terms of I know I mentioned, that we have fall, spring, and summer sessions. As you can see here, our deadline for spring is October 29th. So it's coming up here. I encourage you to reach out to, I'll actually provide the email in the chat a little bit later, but I encourage you to reach out to us HNIP staff if you do have any questions about your application. Happy to help you there. But just keep that in mind of that October 29th deadline. For summer, we have some agencies that need, for various reasons, to hire very, very early. So we are actually already working on some placements for summer, just a handful at this point, but that is why we have an early deadline. If you can get that application submitted, then you can be reviewed for some of those early postings. But the majority of our postings will come, or requests will come later, in which case we have the February 25th deadline. If you're looking at next fall, that is going to be June 3rd of this coming June 3rd. So just dates to keep in mind. All of these are accessible on our website and updated, so you can make sure to check them out there. I am not going to spend too much time on this slide just because I know that we actually have a UIC student who can speak about her own experience. And I think that's going to be more interesting than these quotes on the slide here. But I will just say, time and time again, students tell us that they are amazed at the work that they are asked to do. It's not your, it's not your pushing papers job. You're doing real work, and being able to then put that on your resume moving forward is huge. And so we just get that time and time again from interns. But again, I'm excited to hear from Melanie a little bit later about her experience. So now I've talked a lot about federal, and now I just want to point out some differences with our corporate program. Our corporate program is only in summer. But you can see here that we have partnerships with so many different corporations, some big head honchos like Google, PetSmart, Deloitte. If you haven't heard about Deloitte, it's a huge contracting firm here in DC, so very federal adjacent. So some really great opportunities with our corporate internship program as well. But just keep in mind that it is only for summer. The corporate application process is, you have some points of contact here on the slide, but we can share that again later. It's a different application. So if you are interested in federal and corporate, make sure to apply to both. But again, corporate, then you apply to one and are eligible for multiple positions. And recent graduates are eligible for corporate internships, so I encourage you to check that out. I know, and specifically even for fall 2021 graduates, I know if I were in your position, I would think there's no way I can wait to get a job until June. I need a job now when I'm graduating. And unfortunately, job searching is not very fun and it takes a lot longer than you ever want it to usually. So I encourage you still to look at this because it doesn't hurt to put this spoke in the fire, okay? If you get, you apply, at least, you know, have that as an option. Don't rule out any options. Even if it's 5 months down the line and seems so far away, you might be surprised at, you know, you find something in the meantime, but this is really gonna get you where you wanna go. So definitely encourage you to think about that. The corporate process, they really work with you to do some mock interviewing as well as reviewing your resume. The corporate program is pretty competitive, so that is where the HACU really works with you to make sure that you're having the best application put forward. Again, this is something to apply to sooner rather than later because, you know, Google has a pretty extensive background check, for example, that takes time. So you want to make sure that you're set to go for those opportunities. I also just want to, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I also want to mention that HACU has academic scholarships available. And so you can check out the link there provided. And you know, what we want there is we want to know how you are contributing to your school, contributing to clubs, what you're doing academically, and then that, you know, it's a great option when if you're looking for some scholarships to apply to. Definitely look at HACU for that. We also have a Leadership Institute program. It's actually coming up here real quick, but we already have the dates for next year. And this program is a professional development, heavy focused 3-day event. And it's pretty amazing what is covered in these sessions. So definitely something to check out if you're interested. And yeah, so, you know, just a note that HACU has many different programs and services available. I know we're all here for the paid internship because who wouldn't want to be here for that? But definitely worth checking out some of our other opportunities as well. For example, our Leader in Residence program, which covers, I don't know if UIC has something like new student mentors or, you know, people like upperclassmen that welcome freshmen to campus. This is kind of a similar type program for that Leadership Institute I was just talking about. So an awesome opportunity to take professional development to the next level and a really great experience you'll be able to talk about. And then just to continue going on here, I already mentioned scholarships and the Leadership Institute. But something I actually want to point out directly here is this ProTolento. So again, for students that will be graduating in fall, but also for others down the line, make sure to check out the ProTolento job board. I encourage you to do that because, again, thinking about the job searching process, half the battle is finding the search engines that are going to work for you and find the opportunities that are best suited for you. So, you know, me personally, Indeed's not my favorite. Some people can work it really well, but it's not my favorite. I find some other search engines to work better. ProTolento is one of them. The thing about this job board is companies and organizations are approaching HACU and asking for access to our interns and to our students of HSIs like UIC. So these companies have already come asking for you in a sense. And so that just is giving you a leg up. So definitely a job board to post your resume and also just keep an eye on for openings. I think I might end there with just because I want to make sure we have enough time to hear from Melanie and some time for questions. And then we will have some Q&A as well. But Melissa, do you want to?
Yeah. No, this is great. Thank you for all of that information. And I will send the slides out to folks a little bit later, maybe tomorrow or Monday, but I will get that information out to everyone. So in case you have additional questions. And yes, Melanie, I think I know students are really excited to hear from you and a little bit about maybe how you navigated the process of applying, but also I think they definitely want to know what you did during your remote internship. So I will be really excited to introduce Melanie Valentine. And also, like I said, she's one of the planners of the Latinx Heritage Month at UIC. So we're thrilled that you can join us. So thank you so much, Melanie.
Yeah, of course. Hi, everyone. I'm Melanie Valentine. I am a junior, so third year. I am studying statistics and criminology, law, and justice. So the way I found out about HNIP was through the HACU annual conference. I was able to go when it was here in Chicago, so fall 2019, I believe. There I met with the CIA, USDA, different agencies, different corporate like departments and all that. I met with Kellogg's, Amazon, Google, all of the ones that you saw in the presentation. They were there and I was able to network there, and not only with them, but also with other students from all over the country. And so for the HNIP internship, I applied. It was pretty easy. Just put in all those little details and then you're just put into a pool and they'll pick you out. It does take a little while for them to, start the process, but it's because there's a big pool. But they select you with different agencies. You'll get interview offers. Then you'll interview with them and then, they'll email you saying, hey, work with us this summer. So this summer I worked with the CDC. I worked with their work-life wellness office, so with their healthy food team. With the healthy food team, I helped them with their summer initiative, which was for the educational garden that they were putting together. It was partnered with Natural Born Tillers. So their garden was supposed to engage everyone on their campus to learn more about healthy eating, how to be a wiser gardener. So they would have different programs throughout the summer showing how to grow tomatoes, how to grow certain things in your garden. So I helped with organizing that and pretty much putting out information about how to have a healthy lifestyle and why corporate and gardens are important, as it leads to like physical activity, it's less stress, it's a positive image and all of that. But I also helped with inclusivity within their campus. That includes their cafeteria. So I propose that maybe they add more ethnic foods in there so that they're more inclusive of everyone on campus. And then also not only the foods, but also the accessibility. So making sure that there are, wheelchair accessible entrances, how to be more safe with COVID. Maybe there can be like a ticket or like a barcode that you just scan and then that tickets you in instead of swiping something or touching something. So I worked with that. I also did some slight research about work-life balance terminology because balance kind of means like 50-50, but we shouldn't really be doing work and life 50-50. It should be, we're trying to figure out like what ways to say balance without saying balance. So other words that could fit in like that. But as I mentioned, workplace inclusivity, and then also pronoun usages and thinking of the pros and cons that go within that. But then also, if I had more time, I would have gone on their intranet, and it's basically their own internet, like website, web page. And I would have seen how many people visit different pages and then help them figure out what links that they should maybe remove if no one's going to them, if they should add more information, if people are clicking that and they want more information and all of that stuff. So yeah, it was all around a good experience. My first time working with the government, and I will definitely be back and looking for other positions.
Melanie, that was really great. And thank you for just all the information you shared. I don't know if Hannah and Ben have anything to add, but thank you for just kind of giving us like kind of a bird's eye view, I would say, of some of the different tasks and projects you worked on. It sounds like you had a really impactful experience.
Yeah, even for being virtual.
Good plug for those virtual internships. Sometimes they're really great. I think students, you know, are kind of skeptical sometimes about them, but yeah, Melanie, thanks so much for plugging those virtual experiences. That's a great point.
Of course.
Yeah, if I may just add 2 points, Melanie, it's so interesting to hear all of what you did. And I think that goes to what I was saying before of like, you did some real like productive and beneficial work, you know, and so I admire all that you got accomplished in one summer. So awesome. And the other thing that I wanted to mention too about, and Melanie, I think you gave some good insight into the application process that, you know, to me seems like the back of my hand. So it's hard for me to maybe think about it in a different light. But I will just say, as a little bit of context, we are continually and getting requests from agencies for positions. So it's not like on October 29th, we have all the positions that we're going to fill. We keep getting them. And so we keep looking at our application pool. It's a very rolling process. So that, you know, I say that just to know that just because you don't get notified by mid-November doesn't mean you're not going to get a position. You know, our requests are just very ongoing. But that also means that earlier you get your application in, we will start looking at it right away too. So if you submit your application in December, it will be reviewed in December and versus waiting until the February deadline, for example.
Because sometimes, you know, HACU will pair you, or sometimes an agency will look at applications individually. And that's kind of how, and that's the process behind it all.
Absolutely, absolutely. Ben, did you have anything to add? Otherwise, we can open it up to questions.
No, let's go ahead and take some questions.
Does anyone have questions? Anything that Hannah and Ben or Melanie can address? Anything we want to kind of sort out? Things you're wanting to know?
Hi, my name is Michaela, and I'm a junior at UIC. And I put it in the chat, but I was just wondering, if we do earn an internship, are there part-time and full-time options? And if so, what are the maximum hours you can work on both of them?
Yeah, that's a great question. So historically speaking, when our internships were in person all the time, all of our internships were 40 hours. However, now that we have done some virtual positions, it's worked out that we do part-time. So I would say the majority of our students this term are part-time. HACU requires a minimum of 20 hours a week and a maximum of 40. There are some agencies that are a little bit lower than 20 hours right now for virtual, like 2 come to mind out of all of them, and that are just, you know, a few hours less. But generally speaking, for virtual, you're looking 20 to 40. And usually the agencies are pretty flexible as to what works for you. I mean, I think lots of times they're more interested in choosing the right applicant and then working with however many hours that works with your schedule. With that being said, there are some postings that will be, you know, specifically for 40 hours or specifically only for 20, just depending on the agency's needs or funding that available to them. So basically it runs a gamut. However, our summer positions are all, well, actually, Ben, maybe you can correct me if virtual summer is also full-time. But I will say that if you have a hybrid position or you have an in-person position, that is going to be full-time. And the reason for that is, you know, you're relocating at that point. And so that is where it just makes more sense to be full-time for that. Ben, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I think you answered that fully and very well. So.
Great, thank you so much.
So
Hi, I had a quick question, if you don't mind. Actually, two quick questions. The first one is regarding the hybrid. I'm interested in the summer internships. Where are they located? Are they all based in DC, or are the corporate ones in different parts of the country? And then my second question is, I'm a first year law student, so I don't have a GPA yet. Should I wait until I have my transcript showing my GPA, or can I go ahead and apply early? Thank you.
Those are both excellent questions. I'll just answer them in order. In terms of where you would be located, if you have a hybrid or an in-person internship, the potential is anywhere across the country. For the federal, a lot of them are DC. However, we have, for example, Fish and Wildlife Service has regional offices in Denver, actually, I think in Chicago, and so different places across the country, and interns are placed often in regional offices. So I would say a lot of our federal are DC, but we certainly have people across the country in regional offices. Corporate is also all over the country. So it just depends on the specific job. Yes, so that is the first question. Second question about being a first year law student. In that case, I would actually just recommend you to put your undergrad GPA. You know, because we basically, everybody, if you're applying to this program, you completed 1 year of college coursework. So you're going to have a GPA from something. And if you're in your master's or you're in your JD and you don't have a GPA yet, just go ahead and use your undergrad. And then you can always update it later. And we'll see, you know, for your education section, you'll still enter your JD, but then obviously the GPA point would be blank since you just started. So yeah, I hope, does that answer your questions? Awesome.
So we had a question from Mariah, I think, about just like any tips either Melanie has or maybe Hannah you have about how students can really stand out, I guess, like maybe in their applications or their resume, and any just like additional tips you would share.
Yeah, I think my soapbox of late is really making sure that students are not underselling yourself, and also just, you know, yeah, so I guess on that point, I actually saw a meme just earlier today that was like, how would you write if you changed a light bulb on your resume? And it was something like, self-started a project to provide environmental luminosity with no per deadline and no cost, or something like that. And obviously that's an exaggeration, but I think it is a good demonstration of, you know, if you feel like, okay, well, I've only been a waiter, I've only been a bartender. The only doesn't need to be in that sentence. You have learned very valuable skills. And so what I want to see on your application is for you to talk about, as a bartender or as a waiter, how you had to deal with customer service, you had to deal with conflicting priorities and timelines. And so really, yeah, I mean, not underselling yourself. It's not just being a waiter. In fact, you have learned a lot of skills that is like the essentials of every job. So really being able to highlight that. Also in the federal application, we have a section about special skills, and I would highly encourage you to fill that out thoroughly. And the reason is that's actually a search function for us. So if we are looking for somebody that has experience with Photoshop, or somebody that has experience with a coding language, then we can search by those special skills and find applicants that way. So definitely encourage you to, in that skills portion, put if you've used Canva, social media, Microsoft Office is kind of basic, but like anything beyond that, we want to know about, and that helps us in matching your application appropriately. And, this being a little bit more context of our process, we get these requests from agencies and then we search our pool and give them a handful to then review. So all in all, you want to make sure that yours is standing out as a possible match as often as possible. So just having that application be thorough and representative of all that you're capable of.
Yeah, and I think that's, again, like where a career advisor can come in if you're not sure how to showcase being a bartender or being a waitress, right? It's communication skills, it's conflict resolution, it's time management, it's prioritizing. There's a lot of things that go into hospitality positions, and we can help you showcase that. The other thing I would say, and Hannah, thanks for kind of helping us learn how you all sometimes are matching applicants potentially to positions, is that if you speak other languages besides English, if you read and write in other languages, sometimes like you may devalue that just because you're fluent, but don't devalue that. Put that on your resume and make sure you put on these different applications, because I know for the federal government, sometimes speaking and reading and writing in other languages is extremely important.
I also wanted to add to not selling yourself short. Anything can really help, because when I was, so for the CDC, for my position, they would have also liked someone who had or was majoring in nutrition, something like that. But I had experience with community gardens. And so that's the way I was able to add even more to their educational garden. So even though I'm not majoring in nutrition, I was able to use my experiences within a community garden within their educational garden. So even those experiences count. And also for languages, I know that the CIA, for their employees, if someone speaks Spanish, then they get a little extra money. If they speak another foreign language, then they might get even more money. So that's also a great skill, and definitely put that out there.
And let me just add on to this too. We do have some agencies who do not request interviews, but rather just look at your resume. And base their hiring specifically on your resume. And that is because of the way that they treat, because you would be treated as a contractor for the federal government or a subcontractor. So what they usually do is they look at your resume and they say, we want to hire Hannah, we want to hire Lily. So you just want to really make sure that the resume that you put into our application really represents you as a person. We have had strong resumes, and Hannah, correct me if I'm wrong, I think one of it is with the SEC, another one is with another office at the Treasury, where literally what they had asked for were just resumes and your transcript. And then they base their decisions on that. So you really want to put your best foot forward on that piece of paper. So work with your career services, work with Melissa here, just making sure that everything is jotted down. And those special skills that you have, anything that you have, SQL, C++, anything like that, make sure you add that onto your application.
And actually, that made me think, we even have a portion on our application that's, I believe it's called, I think we have a volunteer experience as well as an affiliations portion. And I highly encourage you to fill those out too. And this is especially important when you may only have had one job prior to applying. Because if you Melanie is a great example of being active on campus, like that's also going to be beneficial for your application, because if you've managed social media for, Habitat for Humanity on your campus, then, you may not have gotten paid for that experience, but it's obviously a demonstration that you can do that work and then could potentially do it for an agency. So don't be remiss to also mention, volunteer experience in clubs and organizations that you're a part of, and anything you do for them.
So this was super wonderful. Melanie, this is the first time we've ever had a UIC student share about their HACU internship. So you win the prize for that. And thank you for being so professional and just really enthusiastic. I know I learned a lot from all the things that you shared. So really, we appreciate that. Hannah and Ben, thank you for joining us virtually from DC. It's really great for students to learn about these different opportunities that they potentially can apply for. I will definitely stay on if people have questions, anything that you need. I will send out some follow-up emails. The recording might take me a couple days. The slides I can get out to you pretty quickly. Anything that you need, please utilize Career Services. Let us help you so that you can have a great application. So Ben and Hannah, anything else to add, or Melanie? But again, just let us know. But thank you for joining us and sharing all your great experiences, students. And we'll stay on for a couple of minutes in case there's anything else you want to ask.
Yeah, and I forgot to mention this in the beginning, but I'm originally from Madison, Wisconsin. So I was super excited to see Chicago on my list of presentations. This is super fun to be able to be talking to some Midwesterners, or at least located in the Midwest currently. So yeah, that was a pleasure. So thank you, everyone. And I also want to say thank you, Melanie. I don't often get to see like verbally lots of it's in writing. So this is awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, of course, my pleasure. I don't think we hear a lot about UIC students getting out there, but it's probably just not broadcasted much.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Hannah and Ben, maybe Melanie should be like, kind of maybe some quotes from Melanie or a picture of Melanie. I feel like she could go on all the HACU stuff and really promote this.
I
great
wouldn't mind
opportunity.
that if Melanie wouldn't mind that.
I think I saw Julia unmute herself. I don't know if she had a question.
Oh yeah, okay, great. Julia, if you have a question or anyone else, or
I need to put her on the spotlight.
No, it's I joined super late. I literally just joined. I'm an LAS major at UIC. I'm a freshman. And for my LAS advising class, we actually have to do a presentation on academic opportunity and career services here at UIC. And we decided to choose HACU as one of the things we're going to put in our presentation. So we just wanted a little bit more information about it.
Yeah, Julia, that's amazing. That's super exciting. Would it be best if we maybe connected over email, or you and I set up a chat on a different occasion?
Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
Okay, I believe my email is already in the chat, but I'll just put it once more. I'll send it actually directly to you to make sure you get it. Oh, I guess I can't do that, never mind. So,
Julia, can I ask, when is your presentation?
Yeah, I believe it's October 13th.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say, I know someone that could sponsor to go to the conference. It would be sponsored by USDA, but the conference is the 25th to the 27th.
Oh.
But I mean, if you're still interested.
No, yeah, I am. Put in my email as well.
Okay. And Julia, I will send out the slides in like the next day or two, so at least you can kind of flip through the slides a little bit. Of course, talking to Hannah is going to be more helpful, but I still think like getting those slides, you can kind of review those slides maybe before you meet with Hannah, and that way you can kind of learn a little bit about the program, and then maybe Hannah can answer some questions that way as well. And Hannah, thank you for being willing to connect with Julia and share more about the program.
absolutely.
Thank you so much.
And then Julia, I will say, if you want to talk about UIC Career Services, I think you and I should connect and we can talk more about that too.
Yeah, of course. I was actually on a different Zoom call before this, and they gave me your contacts. So I already have that written down.
All right. That sounds great. Yeah, but we're glad that you joined. And Melanie, thanks for sharing information about going to the conference, because I don't think I realized that. It sounds like if students want to go, there's some good opportunities to be able to attend. All right. I'm trying to think. Anything else people have questions about, or anything else as we're kind of finishing up? And Julia, it sounds like we'll be connecting. Sounds like you'll be connecting also with Hannah.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Well, Missy, thank you so much
Yeah.
for us today.
No, I really appreciate it. And we had great student questions, and it's so nice, Melanie. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. It's so nice for students to hear from students. I have students who will tell me that like UIC students never get HACU internships. I'm like, actually they do. So you are kind of our superstar to let students know that they can apply and they can definitely land these really great opportunities.
Yeah, and for going to the conference, that was the way I like kind of knew more about the CIA. I did
Mm.
apply a few times.
Got it.
It's more competitive, definitely more competitive.
Okay, no, that's good to know. For sure. And the Melanie, I don't know if you know, but there's a government career fair in the beginning of November. So you potentially, and it's virtual, so you potentially should attend. Did you know about that one or not yet?
I remember going to it my freshman year in person, back when everything was in person.
Yeah, in person. Yeah, right. But yeah, it's happening, and I'm almost positive the CIA, the FBI will be attending. They recruit pretty heavily at UIC.
All right.
So just in case you're interested. But yeah, Ben and Hannah, thank you. You guys did great, and I really appreciate all the information. And hopefully we'll be able to keep connecting and kind of sharing all these good resources with students.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and then I'll send you guys the contact info for students who filled it out as well.
Great.
So,
that's very helpful. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, but Melanie, great job, like 10 stars. So thanks for sharing.
Of course. Thank you.
All right, bye guys. Thank you so much. Take care. Oh, shoot. Oh, no. I'm so sorry. I missed that. Crap.